Alright, yo, we gotta talk about this Jake Paul fight, man. Oh my god. I'll be honest, I did not expect this. Alright, I did not see this coming. I did not expect for me to be telling y'all that Jake Paul has done it once again. This man has successfully KO'd another one of his opponents. And he didn't do that in the first fight, and the first fight was kind of bad. And this fight was really no different. It was also really bad. In fact, I honestly would say that this fight was less entertaining in the first 5 rounds than the previous fight, which is something to say, all right? Because they were really hyping this up to be, the best fucking boxing match, between Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley. That's really not what we saw, okay? We just saw two idiots just basically sparring each other for the first 5 rounds. You could say, oh, things kind of got interesting, when Tyron flopped Jake Paul and, threw him to the ground, or when Jake Paul got a gash on his forehead. Bro, I really don't give a shit about whatever that was, all right? I just come here for the knockouts or for the clean punches, and there really weren't many thrown, all right? This just to put this into perspective, all right? This came out of nowhere, my guys. All right, this right hand wind up by Jake Paul, because I had a friend with me, right? I gathered all the boys over because they were all leeching off me for this fight, because I was one of those suckers who paid $60 for this shit. I feel like I got scammed, man. But anyway, I got, all the boys are over, we're having a grand old time, the fight wasn't really doing anything for us, so we were just, kind of conversating amongst ourselves. But one of my friends had his phone out, and he was recording the first 5 rounds, and it got so boring to the point where he just turned off the camera, because he was trying to, capture something like that happened live, like maybe a knockout between one of the two opponents, and as soon as he stopped recording his phone, that's when Jake Paul knocked out Tyron. So literally, this man spent what, like 10 minutes or 8 minutes, recording this fight, holding the phone in his hand, trying to capture some good shit live, and he was unsuccessful with it. That just goes to show that this fight was definitely one of the most boring boxing matches I've watched in a very, very long time, all right? And just to put this into perspective, all right, in terms of how unconfident I was in Jake's ability to do this, I usually bet on all the Jake Paul fights, all right? I don't know why, but it's just like a thing I have. It's like a habit, For whatever reason, I just like to bet on the underdog. And I'm by no means a Jake Paul fan, man, but I was just like, what, let me put $20 down on Jake. Let's see what happens, right? Every time that I would bet money on Jake Paul, I would win. I would 4x my 20, turn it into an 80. So I'd be pretty happy with that result, obviously, right? This fight, I did not bet money. I was like, honestly, man, by the way that they were hyping things up, I really thought that Tyron was, gonna come out with, some balls of steel and actually put an end to this guy, dude. But he did not do that. He ultimately did not. And I'm just kind of sitting here like, damn, bro, I really feel bad for Tyron, because he is going to be clowned until the end of time. Bro, this is why I don't understand why people were calling this boxing match rigged, bro, because I don't think it was, all right? I feel like Tyron legitimately slipped up, and Jake caught him lacking. Jake set up that feint, and then, he wound up with the right. Tyron lowered his defenses, and Jake just fucking knocked him out. There's nothing really more to say about it. I don't think it was anything dirty behind that. I don't feel like, the refs were paid off or anything like that, or the judges, whatever this fucking boxing sport has, bro. I don't think any sort of shady business happened. Maybe, Jake Paul's taking PEDs or steroids, that might be the case, because his first boxing trainer was Shane Mosley heading into the Nate Robinson fight, I think, right? So Shane Mosley does have a history with, some roid usage, but let's not get into that, all right? What I'm trying to say right now is that ultimately, I did not think that Jake Paul, out of all people, would be beating up a UFC champion, but yet here we are at the end of 2021, and we really don't know what's coming up next. Now, if I was to be a betting man, I'd probably say that we're going to see Jake Paul return in the second half of 2022, and it's going to start off with a UFC fight just to get him warmed up again. He's probably going to go against an ex-UFC guy, whoever that may be. I know that he was calling out Nate Diaz and Masvidal in the boxing match, aftermath of what happened with Tyron Woodley and him. But I will say that we're probably going to start off with something like that. Maybe Tommy Fury will get a second chance, but I highly doubt it because, you know, Jake Paul is really emphasizing the fact that Tommy blew it. He blew his chance to fight him, and I really don't think we're going to see that boxing match happen. But I do think that we're going to see Jake Paul against another UFC guy, and then possibly maybe towards the end of 2022, we would see a Jake Paul and KSI fight. But at the end of the day, I also think that this is very unlikely. I feel like Jake Paul will not be fighting KSI just because Jake Paul kind of like overtook KSI in terms of like his boxing level. Like, I feel like if JJ really went into a boxing match right now with Jake Paul would probably win. He probably would win because, you know, JJ, he's been focusing on his music and all that stuff. So I really feel like it would be an unfair boxing match. And, you know, at the end of 2022, that would be a reasonable time to see both of them go head-to-head. But at the end of the day, I feel like that's not going to happen because Jake Paul is really adamant about the fact that he's not going to go backwards in terms of, like, going back to the YouTube level of boxing. And he really wants to maintain this mainstream boxing appeal. So at the end of the day, bro, I really don't know what's in store for us. But I would say we're probably going to see another UFC fight between Jake Paul and, you know, an ex-UFC fighter. And then we're probably going to see Jake Paul go up against an actual boxing opponent towards the later half of 2022. But let me know what you guys thought about this, man. Let me know what you guys thought about this whole fight, man. It honestly kind of like blew me away. I was really surprised. It was a hard pill to swallow, man. I don't think I actually understood what was happening until maybe half an hour in my mind finally processed what the fuck happened. I was like, holy shit, man, this was unreal. But yeah, man, let me know what you guys thought about this fight down below in the comments. And that's pretty much all I got for you guys. So yeah, peace out.